Hey everyone, or maybe I should say season's greetings? Pugs here with just one new review for y'all, because today I'll be covering It's a SpongeBob Christmas. Well, it's a little early, but kinda close enough to the season that it fits for me to review this episode now. It's certainly getting cold enough outside for it. Have I mentioned that I hate the cold? Because I do. A lot. So just know that I am bundled up and cozy right now as I get into this review, which are the perfect vibes to cultivate for an episode like this. As always, thank you all for watching today's video. Your viewership is much appreciated, especially during these special episodes. And now, let's just get right into it. It's a SpongeBob Christmas brings back a lot of memories for me. For one thing, I vividly remember this episode's premiere. I mean, how could I not? It was the first episode to be completely stop motion, and didn't it premiere on CBS or something like that? Also, this episode used a song that had been out for years, Don't Be a Jerk, It's Christmas, which is a song I remember very well because of that one Lego animation for it that I watched like a billion times as a kid, which was apparently the winner of a contest. Super cool. I also remember that song because of the line "Don't screen my calls" specifically. Like when I was younger, I remember not knowing what that meant, so I had to ask my parents. But anyway, obviously there's a lot of things working in this episode's favor for being memorable. And of course, on top of everything else, this episode is a Christmas special, the first in a decade, and that is very neat. Before I get into the plot, I just want to take some time to appreciate the production for this episode. The stop motion looks so cool, and I love seeing it used for a SpongeBob product. Honestly, if we could get a whole spin-off that just uses this kind of animation, you would not see me complaining at all. Also, I like how the Jerktonium makes everyone grow a 5 o'clock shadow. This episode is also the second in the entire series to use a 16 by 9 format, something we won't be seeing regularly until season 9, which is coming up very fucking fast, actually. Kinda weird, not ready for my videos to look slightly different. Anyway, I lastly wanted to say that the theme song for this episode is cute. I love the Christmas theming to it. I also like the songs in this episode, and I don't really feel like going into each and every one of them, so just know that I like them. And also, relatedly, I like the songs on the It's a SpongeBob Christmas album too. Not all of them show up in this special episode, but if you haven't listened to that album and you like Christmas music-ish, I feel like you should. It's good, and most of those songs are so underrated. As always, I'll split up talking about the Patchy segments versus talking about the rest of the episode. It's been so long since we've seen Patchy, like, since Truth or Square, that's so long ago. So it was really nice to see him here. The Patchy segments here are, as per usual, very entertaining. I also love how they made his segments stop motion too. He looks so funny in that style, and it's cool to see him in a different place than Encino, California. I also just love how unhinged Patchy is here. It's too funny. And of course, it's always fun to see his misfortune, especially when it's so self-inflicted as it is here. The part with the bear at the end was so funny. Switching things over to SpongeBob's portion of the episode, I'd say that I like the plot here. It just feels like a classic Christmas special plot, with the emphasis on people acting naughty or nice, and Santa coming specifically. Having Plankton be the villain in this episode was a good choice considering his near lack of presence in the previous Christmas special, and his plan here is so delightfully juvenile, given how he complains about receiving coal every Christmas. It's funny thinking of how the child-adult line extends past the characters of SpongeBob and Patrick, though in a different way. When the show leans to the child side of that line for other characters, it's largely about maturity and what they prioritize in life. An adult would not care about getting coal for Christmas. Let's put it that way. As for the other characters in this episode, well, I can start with the titular character himself. SpongeBob here is simply great, nothing else to it. His endless cheer and optimism is something that I already adore, as I'm sure I've made very clear by now. And in this episode, it's even better because of that Christmas spirit. SpongeBob's interactions with the other characters in this episode is great as well. He's the perfect opposite to Plankton, which calls to mind some of their best dynamics like in Walking Small. And I just love how impervious he is to any kind of insult to his being, not to mention he's completely unable to be a jerk. That's my SpongeBob. As for our supporting cast, I think everyone else in this episode is just hilarious. Like I said, Plankton is just a great antagonist here, he's very fun to watch, and that helps drive the plot of this episode. Sandy, Patrick, Mr. Krabs, and Squidward all play very limited roles here, but I love them too. Even the Bikini Bottomites are great in this episode, which, given how frequently they've been depicted annoyingly, is super exciting for me. Especially because this episode is supposed to be about everyone being a jerk, but they're amusing jerks, not annoying jerks. That's an important difference. Santa too, he's also great and has some surprisingly really good one-liners too. Now, I mean, for a moment, I am irritated by Santa saying that SpongeBob was on the naughty list when the robot Plankton makes is so very obviously a robot. But this part of the plot doesn't like stay for too long, so I'm okay with it. But you're on thin ice, Santa, you hear me? But I will say that the way Santa just sees that the robot has property of the chum bucket written on it is hilarious. Like, what is with Plankton and making these, like, easily exploitable flaws in his plans, or really his robots? I mean, we got the coin self destruct in Imitation Crabs, the plug in Computer Overload, and now this. Hell, we can even add him accidentally including SpongeBob's attitude in the robot and Welcome to Chum Bucket, or Welcome to the Chum Bucket. Um, I guess it's all just demonstrations of his comedic short-sightedness. Pun not intended, but hey, it works. Also, in this scene, I like how SpongeBob puts himself on the front lines to protect Santa and then immediately gets packed up. But he's still able to save the day anyway. And then when Santa leaves, I love that we get the resolution of the bit with Patrick trying to capture Santa. He's just like so funny. I keep using this word, but let me just go ahead and say it. This episode is hilarious, especially when it comes to the jerk behavior of everyone once they get doused with some jerktonium. It's just like too funny. Also, the entire part with Sandy and SpongeBob where SpongeBob just keeps being like, uh-huh, literally has me rolling like every time I see it. This is everything I like to see out of this character in this show, honestly. Alright, so obviously I really like this episode, but before I get to summing everything up, let me go ahead and address the elephant in the room. When two things are similar, you can't help but compare them, and that's exactly what's happened between this episode and Christmas Who. So I'll go ahead and satisfy anyone's curiosity by answering that question. Do I like It's a SpongeBob Christmas more than Christmas Who? Well, that's a hard question to answer. And before you just like compare the scores of the two episodes, please remember that my scores have kind of low key inflated over time and are kind of all relative to the episodes surrounding them, rather than like some objective score. So, anyway, I think I like these episodes generally equally in different ways. I adore the visuals for this episode, and I think the story is a lot more fun, and I also appreciate that Sandy has a more substantial appearance here. However, Christmas Who undoubtedly had much more of an emotional impact, and it was more wholesome as well. So it's hard to say which I like more than the other. And to be honest, I don't think it really matters. Like, they're both great. In fact, they're both amazing tier, as in this episode is going in my amazing tier, where it comes in with a score of 9.4 out of 10. Ha, I thought that was a pretty smooth transition, if I do say so myself. As always, I'll be ending this video with some closing thoughts of mine. Though I'm not sure what I could say. I guess one thing I've always found interesting about this special is that no one really talks about it. Like, they do. I've seen people talk about it and talk about its animation and generally have positive feelings towards it. But with this era of the show, people usually had think pieces to give for all of the special episodes, and you'd think there'd be think pieces out the ass about a special like this, but maybe I just happened not to see them, because I never really saw much of that with this episode. It's interesting. It makes the nostalgia I have for it have a different flavor, since none of it was really internet-created nostalgia. Am I making any sense at all right now? I think I've just been in a more melancholic mood lately as well, so I've been thinking a lot more in this more retrospective way. I was talking to someone the other day and they mentioned how the holidays are kind of a time for that, and while I don't think my mood is influenced by the upcoming holidays, it's interesting that it's happened to coincide. Alright, well, I'm not about to dump a bunch of bullshit on y'all, so let me just go ahead and close things out here, and I'll see y'all in the next review.